Well, every day, the folks on the left tell us this barely happens. Men and women's sports, this is a rare occurrence, once in a blue moon. But how come every time I turn on the news or I check my phone, there's another medal being taken because a man has infiltrated a woman's sports team? And that's what happened recently. We have the information right here. So a few days ago, Marissa Rothenberger, who is a 6 foot tall male playing high school softball, helped steal the Minnesota State Championship from real women. Now, Riley Gaines, who's been an advocate of getting men out of women's sports for years, she decided to speak up and say something, as she should, as all of us should, because this is wrong. Anytime a man comes in and takes a medal, a gold trophy, a scholarship from a young girl who has worked and trained for years, and that's what we've seen. So Riley Gaines, she spoke up. Well, Simone Biles, who you might remember from the Olympics, she has a million gold medals. She is incredibly talented. No one is taking that away from her. Simone Biles is a legend in the Olympics, gymnastics world. Well, she decided to clap back at Riley Gaines. I guess Simone Biles thinks it's fine having men and women's sports. Here's what Simone Biles actually said. We're going to put it up on the screen. She said, "Riley Gaines, you're truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost a race, straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around." So then she also went on to attack Riley Gaines' physical appearance. She said, "Go bully someone your own size," which would ironically be a male. Simone Biles, you just erased your entire legend status. Like Taylor Swift coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris, you were on the wrong side of history on this issue. Simone Biles, you are definitely on the wrong side of history. How can you be okay now, in 2025, with men overtaking women's sports, and then you have the audacity to bully another woman for her physical appearance when you yourself have talked about being insecure and "I have anxiety, I'm so insecure about the way I look"? That's you, Simone Biles, but you have no problem dishing it out, but you can't take it, and we have that as well. So in 2018, Simone Biles revealed she wore sweaters or jackets all year long due to being bullied for her muscles, and she talked about the toxic culture of trolling. Oh, the toxic culture where she's making millions of dollars and counting gold medals from the Olympics. That is Simone Biles. Simone Biles, you're full of shit. You can't protect women. You're an embarrassment. And nobody wants to come out and tell you. None of your teammates want to come out and tell you they don't want men in women's sports either. Okay? You look like a clown for saying you want men in women's sports. And you also look like a clown for going to the physical and personal. Anytime you're in an argument and you immediately go to the physical appearance, you've lost. You've lost the argument. Anytime you're having a nuanced conversation about a serious issue in our country and you say, "Go bully someone your own size," which would be a man, and you try and attack the way someone else looks, you've lost the argument. You look like a petty little bitch. And Simone Biles, you're an embarrassment. We all loved you. We all revered you. You were an American icon. We're going to forget about that time that you choked and ran out crying. We're going to forget about that. You're an icon. You're a legend. You have all these gold medals. But for some reason, you can't protect women. And what's also interesting is Simone Biles and so many other female athletes were abused by Larry Nassar, who was a physician from Michigan State, I believe. He was, I believe, the physician for the Olympics. Y'all, sports is not my forte. But Larry Nassar, he's now in prison for abusing women. And Simone Biles spoke about this. So she clearly doesn't want men that deep and involved in women's sports and in women's locker rooms. But now the woke mind virus has taken over. And we actually found a clip of Simone speaking to my boss, Megyn Kelly, about this very issue. Let's take a look at the clip and then discuss.
Nobody wants their daughter, or just even as an individual, to have that happen to them. So it feels like he took a part of me that I can't get back. So I'm still working on that part. So it's very hard.
Mm-hmm. I know you said for a time you blamed yourself, but you said, "I know now it is not my fault."
Yes.
It's not my fault.
It is not your fault, because some of them, it's called a grooming process. And I think that's what he did. So the main part that he took away from me that I'll never get back is trust. And so I think it's very hard for me to trust some other people. And I find myself even walking down the street or being in places, I'm just very scared.
So she doesn't want men in women's locker rooms. She knows what can happen when you have men close to these young girls in private conditions and vulnerable positions. Simone Biles knows this. She has talked about this for years, but she thinks it's perfectly fine for men to come in, take medals, scholarships from other young women. That's who Simone Biles is. Nobody saw this coming in a million years. But when you're chronically online and you have little Twitter fingers all day long, that's who you are, and the woke mind virus seeps in. Now, Simone Biles, Miss Hypocrisy, in 2017, we found an old post. My team, there's nothing that gets past us. We found an old post from 2017 where Simone Biles said, good thing guys don't compete against girls or he'd take all the gold medals. Now, I'm not sure exactly who she was speaking about, but she said right there, good thing guys don't compete against girls because they take all the gold medals. So that was her in 2017. We've got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Somehow, in the last many years, she has decided she's actually perfectly fine with having men and women's sports, and she's going to be the defender and savior of all the trans athletes. And I have to say, she made a decent point in her initial post. Why don't we start our own league for trans athletes? You know what I'm saying? Y'all go have fun. Y'all go do your thing. Y'all go rock it and have a good time and compete against each other and braid each other's hair. I don't care. Go start your own league for trans athletes. But Simone Biles, you really look like a joke. You've shattered a huge portion of your legacy. Maybe you can actually sit down on a podcast and have a conversation with Riley Gaines. I think that could be interesting to see two young women, two female athletes come together and discuss this nuanced issue. I personally don't think the issue is that nuanced. It's probably a 95-5 issue if you really want to ask Americans. Everyone knows men should not be in women's sports, but Simone Biles, she's choosing this as her hill to die on. So Simone Biles, we wish you well. We don't know what's going to happen with your legacy. It's unfortunate that you went out on a limb and decided to push for men and women's sports, and then you attacked another woman for her appearance after crying for years over the way you were discussed in the public eye because of your shoulders and your muscles. So you're a hypocrite, Simone, but we have to move on.